Johann, 5 rounds of Premiership action down, 3 months in the role. What is your assessment of the time you've spent here at Bath Rugby so far?
Yeah, firstly, referring back to the pre-season, ending it off that week in Jersey, we have had a good bit of time together for a new group, clarity-wise, connection-wise, and commitment-wise. That's the 3 things that we spend our time wisely on, and we were happy with what we got out of the pre-season. Obviously, standing here now, looking at the last 5 weeks, disappointed not to have come away with a win yet. If I think back to the Bristol game, last play of the game, we've got a scrum, we play for a few phases, and we go for the drop goal and it goes to the left. Could have been so different, but that's the margins of sport. We didn't start that game very well, fought our way back, being 26-17 up with 7 minutes to go, and then very good try there by Ellis Gensch. We struck back with a penalty, 5 points up, and unfortunately we lost the game. The Sale game was disappointing, specifically first home game at the Rec in the sun on a Saturday afternoon. We came up against a very good forward back that kept us between the 215s, kept mauling, and we had multiple scrums on their goal line which we didn't convert. So that was a big learning for us as a group in terms of how to use the opportunities. The Wasps and the London Irish game, first 40 minutes not good enough, falling behind 31-7 and 35-5, and then the positive is the fight back, winning that second half against Wasps 24-8 and being in the game with the last play of the game. And then the London Irish game, if you look at the current trend of the Premiership, loads of tries and scoring 38 points but not winning it. That was disappointing from our side. And then going back to the Gloucester game on the weekend, definitely the best that we've played. I felt that we stuck in that game for 80 minutes, fell behind, came up against a very good Morling team, and fought our way back. And 4-point game for the last 15 minutes of that game. Big opportunity for us 2 yards away with about 3 or 4 minutes to go, and then having to defend our own goal line twice, getting the turnover, and I believe it was something like 25 phases, but we just couldn't get a line break or a penalty. So gutted after that one for the players, for the crowd, because that was a proper game of rugby. So a lot of positives and a whole host of things to work on.
Is it heartening, given where we've come from at the start of the season to now, to have people outside of the club like George Skivington stating that we're not too dissimilar to where they were a couple of years ago, and now to see where Gloucester, where they are, is that heartening?
Yeah, look, that's the formula. Factually, we were bottom of the log last season, and to his credit, he came to me after the game and said that was a very tight game of rugby. They were thoroughly tested in the context of last season's last game, and that we've just got to hold on. They were worried for that last 15 minutes of the game. And speaking to Les Kiss 2 weeks ago, a good rugby friend of mine, as to where London Irish were a few years ago, so there's a whole host of examples of teams that were down and out and fighting their way back. So yes, it's heartening, but we've got to fight our way back through this.
Can you understand fans' frustrations? Obviously, bottom of the table last season, 0 from 5 this time out. Can you understand their frustrations, but hope that they can see the progression that is being made?
Yeah, look, if they weren't frustrated, it means that they don't care, and the fans at this club care, and it all comes from a good place. Sport is emotional. We all, as human beings, love winning, but also in sport you respect effort and you respect the will to get better. And yes, I can 100% see the frustration and understand it, but I can also see the people standing by us and wanting us to get better and actually seeing that we are getting better, be it it's not in a win at this stage. So yes, it means that the people of Bath care, the supporters of Bath care, and they showed up again on Saturday, and it was a phenomenal atmosphere throughout the 80 really.
Going into more detail, first half versus second half, we've unfortunately been up against it, say at half time in some games, but have come back and really shown fight and passion in the second half. Why do you think that is, and is that credit to the fitness that the boys can keep going as well?
Look, the first half is confidence, belief. There's no easy teams in the Premiership, so we're playing against quality opposition. I think the credit to everybody involved here at Farley. Every day we're coming in to work hard. It shows that we're not dropping off in second half of games. It shows that the players do care. It shows that if we stick to what we want to do, it builds pressure on the opposition. And at one point specifically, I was very adamant about when I came here is you've got to build pressure, and one thing was the maul, and our maul's been going really well. In order for you to maul, you've got to get field position, and we're playing in the right parts of the pitch. So yes, that is very heartening, but I'd love to get an 80-minute performance.
And one thing that you mentioned in pre-season was body composition and getting those players fitter. Is that something you're seeing?
Yeah, the players are working incredibly hard, and credit again to Sarah, Alex and Rory leading it, and to the players themselves. It's not a 1 week thing, it's not a 6 weeks thing, it's a few years thing that we've got to become better at, and clearly we acknowledge that we weren't, but we're doing something about it, and that's a collective effort, not only by the management, but the management and the players, and they're putting in the effort.
You mentioned Premiership rugby across the board having more attacking play, and there have definitely been more tries and more points this season than last at this point. Talk to me about our attack and our defence and the clear kind of disparity, I suppose, between the two at the moment. 17 tries for, 23 against in the Premiership. Talk to me about that.
So firstly, the trend in the Premiership is teams get quick ball, teams struggle to slow the ball down. The tacklers are being blown very harshly and rightly so by the referees, so teams are struggling to slow the ball down. Great example is the game on Sunday, Wasps versus Northampton. A handy lead and a team scores 3 tries in 6 minutes. From our point of view, defence was the biggest work on. We've got a system in place now. Guys are getting used to it. As I said on day one, most of the time it's contact skills that we concede momentum and then we struggle to stop it. So that's a constant work on. That won't change in a week's time. We've got to keep on working at that. And then from an attacking point of view, the fact that we're playing the right parts of the pitch, the fact that our maul and our scrum have become more dominant, it means that it's space on different parts of the pitch. And yeah, we've scored some lovely tries, a good variety of tries. Like I said, some from the maul, some from the scrum, some from breaking away from the maul, some kick returns, so some from turnover attack, some from close range like Miles Reid over the weekend. So a long way to go in our attack as well. And then that transition between attack and defence, that kicking game, becoming better at that and building some pressure. Said being pragmatic, and I believe you can see that we are certainly trying to be that.
I'm sure what you're looking for is building that consistency in performance. What hasn't helped is the number of injuries that we've suffered during the first 5 rounds of the season. Some key individuals and a lot of leaders in the squad. How difficult has that been to manage?
Look, from a excuses point of view, every team gets injuries, so I accept that. Unfortunately for us as a group, if you look at the amount of trauma injuries we've had, to name a few of our tight 5, Ben O'Bonnor, Josh McNally, Charlie Hughes, Will Spencer, Gallagher Premiership van Velze, to name a few. our loose forwards. You know, that's the carrying bit, the poaching bit. Sam Andeel, Jaco Kutsia, Chris Kluter. So we've been hit hard, leadership wise, appointing a new captain for literally a game which he played exceptionally well in, and then getting injured at the start of the next game, and we haven't had him since. You know, Josh McNally getting injured, Gallagher van Graan getting injured, so it hasn't helped. But then the brilliant thing about sport and rugby is new leaders stand up, and I think Tom Dunn has been absolutely magnificent. As I said to the group, what an example of somebody that cares for Bath, that works hard, gets up off the floor, comes again. You know, he's played more minutes than potentially he should have because of one or two other incidents, but he's putting his body on the line and he's leading by example. And you know, if injuries didn't happen, you know, he wouldn't have that opportunity to captain the team. And how happy am I that I made him the captain of this group and he's leading from the front.
What is it in particular about Tom Dunn that will spread to the rest of the squad? That mentality, is that what you're looking for, that to feed down to the rest of them?
Well, I think if I can speak about the 3 C's, first one is connection with the club, connection with the city. He bleeds Bath, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. And as I said the first that I walked in here, is that's the most important thing with a rugby club in the city of Bath, and we should always remember that. Second bit is clarity. From the way that we want to play, as a hooker and as a captain, wants to know exactly we're scrummaging, we're mauling, we're winning our set piece, the fundamentals of the game, and he's been phenomenal in them. And then the commitment bit, if you look at guys giving their all, if you look at the amount of blood and sweat that's going in, just look at his face, look at his ears, look at his body after every game. He's putting everything into it, and the group's bought into that.
We've obviously brought 4 new players into the building last week following Worcester's sad situation. I believe we can confirm Ollie Lawrence and Fergus Lee Warner have penned a contract for the rest of the season and perhaps beyond. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, firstly, Fergus, what a great guy. Incredible energy from Australia. A very versatile player, and he'll be spending the rest of the season with us. Specifically look at the loose forwards and locks that we've lost. And then Ollie made a big impression on me straight away after watching him and meeting him. Wants to achieve, wants to play international rugby, believes in what we want to do here at Bath Rugby. Very diligent, ball carrier, aggressive defender, poacher, very good rugby IQ, and he wants to be part of the group to become better. So absolutely ecstatic to have the 2 of them in the group.
And Ted and Val, is there any update on those 2?
Not currently, unfortunately. I can't give any update currently on the 2 of them.
We started on 0 at the start of your time here in July. Where are we now on our journey together?
Look, factually we are 13 weeks in it. We've got a long way to go till the 28th of May, which I said from the first day that will be the first stop. We are getting better. We must get better quicker. And the most important thing is we've got to stick by our plan, and we've got to look after the people. And I can see the effort. I can see the want to be better. And you know, we've got to make sure that we stay on track. And as I've said, I'm not going to vary, of course, in terms of where we're going in the big picture. Our aim is to make this club better, create stability, which I think is incredibly badly needed, and something I believe that we've done over the last 13 weeks. In sport, specifically in rugby, you play to win, and I expect us to win every single game. Will we lose? Yes. Will we win games? Yes, I believe so. But we've made step-ups, and the good news is we're getting better. The work on is we've got to get a lot better in the coming months and years.
Johann, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.